The audio that you are about to hear is of a woman who is married to a man that attends J.P. Miller's church at Solid Rock at Market Common. She gave more insight into what it was like to be married to someone involved with this church, and her story is eerily similar to Micah's, and she also gives some details and insight into Micah's situation with her husband, John Paul Miller. Her story is quite shocking, and everyone was very concerned for her safety after she was releasing this information. However, she was pretty confident in doing so, but I am going to be blocking out what her username and her real name was. We are going to reference to her as Kay. She also did an interview with Justin on TikTok on his YouTube channel.
My husband, he is a member of the church. So basically my husband, he worked the funeral today, and he called and told me some updates, and then, I posted the video, and he just now, I have it recorded, threatened me to take the video down about the church still supporting JP. So
he threatened you?
Just like threatened to divorce again. That's like, trying to say that he didn't say that and that he doesn't support JP and everything, but I have it completely recorded that he does. Like it's and it just keeps flip-flopping, but the entire church today shut down. All the ministers, 2 weeks ago, his name was Pastor Matt and his wife, Pastor Melissa, they actually baptized my husband. They resigned 2 weeks ago when that other minister in Pakistan died. And then Bernie, the nighttime minister, he resigned today after the sermon, who is actually the one who was really big about telling my husband to make me a subservient wife, and that my everything I said was evil, and that everything I told him about God was evil. And he was actually the one who tried to get me exorcised because I wasn't being obedient enough. And he resigned today, and actually, if you look him up, he's on the sex offender list. And I've kept that one to myself because I wasn't wanting to hurt my husband's feelings. I really didn't want to take him away from the church or God or anything. And they have a nighttime minister that they just ordained, because I'm pretty sure they own the they ordained the nighttime minister. And he's on the sex offender list. And I found that out just because looking in my area just to be safe. And he was the one who was over teaching men to make their wives subservient, and was trying to get me exorcised.
Who threatened you? To clarify, who threatened you?
It's been like a lot of people. So my husband threatens me with divorce. And then, I get threatened with being put out of my home. I get threatened with being put in a mental institution, just like Micah. So when Micah got put in the mental institution the last time, my husband came home from church, and I had to run away because him and his mother were going to put me in a mental institution forcefully. And then all of my doctors had to tell every mental institution in our area not to accept me because they were trying to do that.
Do you need a safe place to go right now? Do you need help right now?
So my family, they bought me an apartment to come stay at, and I'm here today.
So you're safe. So right now, as we speak, you're safe.
Right now, my husband is calling me over and over, trying to get me to take down those videos. No. Yeah, right. So, it's.
You're with your family right now, safe.
I am. I'm with my family. They can say hey. Hello. Yeah.
That makes me feel so much better about what's happening.
Yeah.
She left earlier today.
The husband doesn't know where your apartment is, or anyone else for that matter.
Yeah, no, so he was he had my location. I had that turned off. I actually have my entire phone turned off because it was being tracked so bad.
She can only text and call through Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
Because of how tapped it was.
Don't even hit to your location at all. Just Don't even hint to it. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, that was kind of obvious, but regardless, so no, like, even being threatened to, with my job, like, they were calling and telling my job, because I wouldn't go to the church, that I was having an affair with the owner of my hospital, like the guy who I'm employed by, and so they tried to get me fired that way. And then when that didn't work, because they didn't know that I don't even see my boss, I work alone, then they tried to force me onto disability for being having a brain like trauma. And then when that didn't work, they tried to say I was schizophrenic. And when that didn't work, it was they're trying to threaten that I would be on the street, divorced, and then it was basically like right in line with Micah, and that was kind of how I knew something was wrong with Micah. Like, I was like, they're doing, like, they would say that Micah was in a mental institution, and then my husband would come home and tell me I needed to go because Micah was there. It was really weird.
Before any of this
like whenever she was first being put in the mental institution for bipolar, and then they said she was schizophrenic recently. My family knows them from 25 years ago. Unfortunately, it's been 25 years worth of information that I'm trying my best to eloquently summarize on the spot. You know, so I do apologize if it comes across a little bit frantic.
No. You're fine. Like, if I was in your shoes, you're brave for what you're doing, and again, that's why we're all concerned about your safety. Number one.
I have been told for a year and a half that I was making everything up for attention, and then all of a sudden, in one day, it comes out that everything I said was right. It's really overwhelming.
What can you tell us about JP and his behaviors towards Micah over the last few years?
So okay, this is going to go a little far back. My sister is, this is when I say 25 years. My sister was friends with JP's first wife. And wildly enough, and I didn't even know this, my sister's furniture is actually from JP's first wife and his divorce to be with Micah. And, so Micah was, unfortunately, and she was young. I mean, God keep her soul at peace, but she was the babysitter, and then a lot of things started coming out that, he was buying her cars, and it started looking really suspicious. And then him and his wife got divorced, my sister's friend, and then a relationship was kept pretty secret until she was old enough. But then JP lost his right to minister for 3 years because of the affair. What would that be? I mean, when Micah's my age, so whenever she was 18 is when they got married, or back to actually officially together, but she was 16, so 15 years ago. My previous job, I worked in a surgical center, and that's how I found out was actually people who went to school with JP. I didn't even know they went to school together. And I just started getting really concerned, saying, "Hey, do you know anything about this church? I feel unsafe there." And they were like, "Yeah, you should." So I didn't know about Micah, but then I noticed that she was always really sad looking, and always just really dressed down and pushing herself low. So I asked someone what was going on, and they told me that in the church that JP believed that women shouldn't be dressed up and look more prominent than the man. So he would make her dress uglier or dowdier than him, because that was in their doctrine. It was really weird. And then he would talk about her horribly every sermon I went to, every sermon. And my husband and I actually got kicked out of my house because I told Nick that it was wrong for JP to tell the church that she was schizophrenic and not to answer her phone calls. He told people not to answer her phone calls if she called them. And this was like a couple weeks ago because, she was trying to reach out for help. And he told everybody on that stage not to listen to her because it was bad for her mental health. So then, it was just really obvious that, he was, and a lot of people say, like, even like the church is saying that she was having an affair, but he was having an affair first and she left him. And then he, paid people to get her back, and a lot of money. He paid people in the church to convince her to come back, and she did. And then she got back away, and then he hired a private investigator to say that she was sleeping with one of the ministers, and then he got fired, and Micah was never seen again. They said that Micah was in a mental institution, but she was actually in Africa because I'm the club that they own. My family is friends with the actual owner, and he's said, like, I called him and I was like, what's going on? I'm like being compared to Micah. Why is she in a mental institution? And they're like, she's actually in Africa. She comes back from Africa and then gets killed the next day.
And then we also found out during that time that she bought 2 cars.
Yeah, she bought 2 cars.
Hopefully she was in a mental institution,
yeah.
but she also bought 2 cars.
And we called the dealership,
Yeah.
and they said that she had came in and bought 2 cars.
It was the dealership she used to work at.
It's extreme. They were completely just trying to cover everything up. Say she was in a mental institution when she was trying to run away. I haven't seen the pictures. He just said that he had pictures of her on the beach with their 20-year-old minister that they had just ordained. He got fired, but he told the congregation that he had filed for divorce because of that. So, like, when everybody's saying that she had filed for divorce, he had said that he had filed for divorce weeks before, and that he was in the clear because of the affair. Everything has been completely skewed from what is being told to what's actually been said.
And all of this information that you're saying now has been shared with investigators?
I haven't. So Micah's sister asked me to talk to investigators, but at this point, like, when she asked me, I was so terrified that I haven't went to speak to them yet. And I'm sure they know, because they wouldn't have packed up the church and shut it down and everybody quit if they didn't know something. But no, it has just been this horrible, like, all of the main people of the church is just so, like, willing to just lie for him. She had no chance.
I muted this portion of the live stream because it was giving away identifying information. Basically, the other people on panel are just urging her to be very careful about what she posts on social media and how she can be tracked through other devices.
Yeah, I have had a problem with being tracked for so long that I have learned how to do all that. And that's why I have my phone off. I had an Apple AirPods, a watch, and my laptop, even at my work. Like, I'm a molecular engineer. I work at a lab by the hospital here. And I get, like, there's someone who sits out in the parking lot every day.
There was an email signed into her iCloud.
Yeah, email signed into my iCloud. I had a letter from my phone company sending me that there was another number attached to it. Like, trust me, every day I go through and try to take everything off.
As long as you're aware of it, that's all we're actually looking out for.
Yeah, no, like, it has been an absolute... every day I go in and clear my phone out.
So she had also mentioned that all the research that Kyler has done as far as JP's father, that JP is also involved in.
Now, if you don't know who Kyler is, she is someone that has been compiling a lot of information regarding this case, as well as what happened with JP's father. She is on Facebook as well as TikTok I will show both of her accounts on screen. It would probably be easier to go to her Facebook because she has everything typed up as far as what happened in JP's father's past.
So, like, JP's was telling everybody that his dad was dead. And I didn't know that because, I refused to go to the church. And, unless, it was, this really big ultimatum. If you don't go to the church, you can't, go in the house. By my husband, things like that. So I would go in. But I was, the reason I know anything about JP's dad, because JP told everybody his dad was dead, is that the courier, so with my job, there's someone who brings me, this is sensitive, organs. They bring me organs to my work. And this man has been doing it for 3 years, and come to find out, he's JP's dad's best friend. And that is how I know anything about where, Pakistan or any of that. But after that man told me all of this stuff, I never saw him again either. So I got a new courier after he told me all of those things. But his, that's how I know anything about JP and Pakistan. But I do know that the church has ministers that are ordained in Pakistan with a bunch of ministries. And that is something that it gets so deep that I have just known just to try to not think about it too hard, because that's where it gets really deep. It's and the only reason I know about it is because the courier that I had, he's an older man, just like JP's dad would be, because they were on TV together. He was showing me the letters of JP's dad asking for money from people that he knew back in the United States for that ministry. It was, and I'm like, but isn't that man dead? And he's, that courier is the reason I knew that JP's dad was back in the United States. And I just tried to stay away from that, because at this point, I was getting threatened by everybody that I was going to lose my job and be put in a mental institution because of things I was being told by. I didn't want to know this stuff. I didn't want to be involved. I just wanted the church to be a church. The week before Micah died, JP had everybody pray this prayer out loud. I was not there. My husband just told me because he feels guilty about it. Pray this prayer for Micah to hit her rock bottom so that she was forced to come back to the church. And they all did it in the sermon. Them trying to bring me in to pray prayers over me. And I've previously had an incident on an airplane at which I had surgery 4 years ago, but my husband was telling everybody that I was still having those issues, and my husband told me that that church could heal me more than any surgeon or doctor I ever had could, and that I needed to go in and get prayed over, and I refused to be touched by them. And 3 times they tried to make a meeting where I was going to get touched and prayed over, and I refused to go. They would call in the morning and beg him to come. They would send me messages.
Calling him
at night. Yeah, at 12 o'clock at night, saying that I was the light of the world, and worried about me, wanting me to be there. And I'm like, why? So that's another reason I didn't go. When Micah died, I got a message that night from one of the elders saying, Satan is present. Please be careful and take care of yourself. And I just didn't respond.
Now, that was pretty much the end of the live stream. Shortly after this, she got off panel, and then that's when she went over to Justin on TikTok and did the interview on his YouTube channel. So if you would like to watch that one as well, I will link it in the description of this video.